Uber has been one of the more surprising success stories following the economic reopening, and the management team can be given great credit for that accomplishment. I personally am surprised at the strength of Uber's food delivery business following the economic reopening. The company recently reported quarterly financial results that reported a continued momentum, continued success across all its important categories. I wanted to review those financial figures in this video, and I wanted to update my buy recommendation for Uber stock. Coming into this quarterly update, remember I've had Uber stock rated as one of my top stocks to buy in 2024. So let's see if I'm keeping it there following these results.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
Uber's CEO saying that the Uber consumer has never been stronger. More people are using the platform and more frequently than ever before, while drivers and couriers earned a new all-time high of $17.9 billion over the most recent quarter. The CFO jumps in to say that we started share repurchases against our inaugural authorization during the quarter as we continue to drive long-term shareholder return. And that's been one of the reasons why I've rated Uber stock as one of my top stocks to buy in 2024. As you know, the platform business model is one of my favorite business models, and Uber operates one of the largest scale platform business models in the world. They have over 100 million monthly active users. And what Uber does is it brings together folks that want its service, the delivery and mobility service, and the folks that are providing the service. And for its services, it takes a fee off of the money that consumers spend for this service. And initially, it was not doing well at all. The losses were mounting on the bottom line. And the new CEO, since Darkashkari has came in, sorry if I mispronounced that, he's done a great job in improving the operations of the business, lowering promotions and incentives for consumers, putting the company on a more sustainable footing, increasing prices, and bringing in the new advertising revenue that's really a lucrative source for Uber longer term. Gross bookings grew 19% in the most recent quarter to 40 billion. Mobility gross bookings increased by 23% to 20.6 billion, while delivery gross bookings increased by 16% year over year to 18.1 billion. Now, gross bookings are the amount of money that a customer spends on the Uber platform, but this isn't all for Uber to keep. Uber must share some of these bookings value with restaurants and with drivers. And so Uber takes a percentage of those spendings, but it's still the most critical financial metric for Uber investors to follow, because this will determine Uber's success in the long term. How many people are on the platform and how much money are they spending on the platform? Now, of the two sides of the business, the delivery side of the business is the more surprising one. I was under the impression that when economies reopened and people had the ability to go dine inside restaurants, they wouldn't be ordering food for delivery at home as often. And I was surprised by the robust growth of this segment even after economies reopened. Of course, during the lockdown phase, I was not surprised. It was a no-brainer to see this side of the business grow, but to see it continue growing after the economic reopening really highlighted to me the value that consumers place on this convenience. Now, on a percentage basis, you might say that it's expensive to have food delivered to your home. You might order a $10 burrito and Uber will charge you like $6 or $7 to deliver that burrito, all inclusive with all the fees and tips, etc., right? So that's a 70% fee on your food delivery. But if you look at it another way, you're paying $7 to have food delivered to your doorstep. And that might be a reasonable transaction for a consumer, especially in large cities where if you wanted to go out and pick up that burrito yourself, go to the restaurant if it's not right next door to you, it might take you a half an hour or an hour. You've got to look for parking. You got to go inside, wait in line, and all of that inconvenience. So consumers say for $7, saves me all that hassle. I'll pay it, right? And so that's what you're seeing in Uber's results, that the consumer is willing to pay for that convenience. And because of those reductions in incentives and promotions and higher prices that Uber is charging, the company's doing well on profitability now. Income from operations came in at $796 million, and that was up by $470 million year over year. Net cash from operations came in at $1.8 billion, and free cash flow was $1.7 billion, signaling the asset-light business model. Uber doesn't need to reinvest very much back into the business, so the cash flow it generates, it can return to shareholders, and now you can understand the share buyback initiated earlier. For the third quarter, the company is forecasting gross bookings growing between 18% and 23% year over year, and adjusted EBITDA growing by another 45 to 54% year over year. So robust growth is expected to continue for Uber for the third quarter. Monthly active platform customers increased by 14%. Uber now boasts 156 million monthly active platform customers, up from 137 million in the same quarter the prior year. This is another critical metric for Uber stock investors to follow, and an increase of 19 million year over year is robust growth. They've already demonstrated they can be profitable with the current amount of monthly active platform customers, and every incremental customer from here on out is going to have a very positive impact on the company's bottom line because they're already profitable in that metric. I highlighted the advertising business, which is now on a revenue run rate exceeding $1 billion. And the advertising business is going to generate higher profit margins than the rest of the business because they don't have to pay the restaurant, they don't have to pay the driver when Uber generates ad revenue. So this is an exciting and lucrative part of Uber's business. And the more monthly active platform customers they have, the more money they can generate on advertising. So this is just a nice incremental revenue source that's highly lucrative for Uber longer. And in an interesting announcement, the company in July said they arranged a multi-year partnership with BYD to bring 100,000 new electric vehicles onto the Uber platform across global markets, with plans to collaborate on future BYD autonomous capable vehicles to be deployed on the Uber platform. Driverless car technology. This is interesting because Tesla's working on the same thing, right? And part of Uber's valuation, part of the risk with Uber stock is that Tesla will achieve that driverless technology and will deploy their robo-taxi fleet. And so people that want to get rides will go to the Tesla robo-taxi platform instead of the Uber platform. Now, I view that as a very small likelihood, a very small probability of that actually happening. That's partly why I've been bullish on Uber stock. Maybe Tesla achieves what they're saying, but I think if they do, it's going to be several years later than they say they're going to do it. It's already been delayed by so long. And given Uber's partnership with BYD, they might be able to have a counter offering to Tesla longer term if driverless car technology becomes a everyday reality. Following these results, Uber's stock price jumped, and I wasn't surprised because this was another excellent quarter out of Uber. But Uber is trading at a forward price to earnings of 21.89, which I still think is a bargain valuation for long-term investors, given Uber's prospects longer term. So I'm still keeping Uber stock rated as one of my top stocks to buy right now. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.